Assalamu alaikum. Today it is Sunday and 11th of April 2021. In our broadcast series, The Call of the Messiah, this is broadcast number 34. Just to remind you that these broadcasts are brought to you by the Lahore Ahmadiyya community, and our founder was Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad. He taught us that the Holy Prophet, although people talk about the coming of another prophet after the Holy Prophet Muhammad, this is incorrect because the Holy Quran says that the Holy Prophet Muhammad was Khatamul Anbiya, Khatamun Nabiyyin. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam explained this by saying, La Nabi Abad. After me, there is no prophet. So now no prophet can come, whether it is an old prophet or a new one. He also taught us that people are very keen to call each other kafirs, heretics, at the smallest excuse or disagreement. The Holy Prophet's teaching was that if one reciter of the kalima says to another reciter of the kalima, you are not a Muslim, then it is the caller who is the heretic. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad also taught us that although people say some verses are missing from the Holy Quran, like Ayah Rajam, like Surah Walayat, this is incorrect. All the prophetic revelation that Gabriel brought to the Holy Prophet Muhammad is with us in the form of the Holy Quran. There is nothing missing from it. Similarly, some people say that some verses of the Holy Quran are abrogated. Those verses are present in the Holy Quran, but they're no longer effective. Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad again said, this is wrong. No verse of the Holy Quran was, is, or ever shall be abrogated. And he said his claim was that he was the reformer, the mujaddid of the 14th century, for whom the Holy Prophet Muhammad had used the words Messiah and Mahdi. And he taught that some people say jihad means take the sword and kill non-Muslims. This is wrong. On returning from a battle, the Holy Prophet said, from the minor jihad, jihad-e-saghir, we return to the major jihad, jihad-e-akbar. So his companions, Raziallahu ta'ala anhum, asked, O Prophet of Allah, what is the major jihad? What is jihad-e-akbar? And the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, jihad-e-akbar is to control yourself. It's the jihad with your own nafs, with your own self. With that, let us turn to today's topic, an important announcement. The allegation against Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad that he claimed that he was a prophet is very old. It's nothing new. And when Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib was in Delhi and he went to the Jamia Masjid, the main mosque in the center of Delhi, police had to be called to keep the peace and prevent people from rioting. Can you see how sad it is? God says the most unjust are those who stop people from entering the mosques of Allah. And yet, here you have a Muslim who has made it the purpose of his life to establish that Islam is superior to all other philosophies and religions. And people want to beat him up to kill him. And the Christian British police superintendent commented on that. He said, I'm amazed. This man is extolling the virtues of Islam and telling us how Islam is superior to Christianity. And people whose religion is Islam want to attack him. And I am defending him whose religion he is attacking. So Hazrat Sahib decided that it may be useful to make an announcement and issue an advertisement or a poster throughout Delhi. He was staying at Bazaar Ballimara, Ballimara Street, at the house of Nawab Loharu. So on 2nd of October 1891, he issued an announcement. Call it a poster, an advertisement, or whatever else you want to call it. It's quite long, so I'm not going to go through all of it. All I want to do is to just look at the first 2 pages. So let us go to the top and see what it says. It starts off, an advertisement by a humble traveler for the attention of all Muslims who value justice. So it starts off and it says, "O brother Momins, O brothers resident in Delhi and this is your country, your place. After the salam, as was the practice of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and prayers, I want to make it clear to all you gentlemen that this humble traveler is stationed in your city for a few weeks. And this humble one has heard that some leading scholars of this city say about me, publicize about me, that this person claims to be a prophet, denies the existence of angels and heaven and hell and the angel Gabriel and Lailatul Qadr, the night of majesty, and miracles and mirage of the Holy Prophet Muhammad. So, so to make it known to everyone, and I plead with the elders of religion that this allegation is mere fabrication. I am not a claimant of prophethood. I do not deny miracles or the existence of angels or Lailatul Qadr, etc. On the contrary, I believe in all those things which are a part of Islamic belief and which are believed by the Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat, and I accept everything that is proven from the Quran and from the Hadith. And after our Lord and Master, Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Khatmul Mursaleen, I regard any other claimants to prophethood and messengership as a liar and fabricator. He continues, liar and a kafir, a heretic. And he continues, I believe that revelation of messengership started with Hazrat Adam and it was terminated by the Prophet of Allah, by the messenger of, with the messenger of Allah, Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then he repeats these things in Arabic. Amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi, etc. But notice that in there he adds Khatamun Anbiya Allah, Muhammad Mustafa. The last of the prophets. And then he says, actually I'll translate all of it after the Arabic. On this my writing, I ask every single person to be a witness. And the Lord, who hears and sees, that I believe in all these things, in all those things, by believing in which a heretic, a kafir, is accepted as a Muslim by believing the things, by believing those things which, when a person of another religion believes them, he is immediately called a Muslim. I believe in all matters which are written in the Holy Quran and the authentic Hadith. I do not claim to be Jesus, son of Mary, and I do not believe in reincarnation. I merely claim to bear a resemblance to Jesus. Just like Muhaddasiyat bears a resemblance to Prophet. My spiritual condition is greatly comparable to the spiritual condition of Jesus. Thus, I am a Muslim. So the summary of what I'm saying is, the summary of this is, I am Muhaddis of Allah, and I am a Mamur min Allah. That is, I've been appointed by God. But I am a Muslim from among the Muslims who has come for the 14th century to the Muslims in the color and with the nature of Mujaddid of religion, sent by the creator of the heavens and the earth. I am not a fabricator. I am not a fabricator. God looked at the world and found it in darkness. And for the welfare of his servants, he appointed a humble one. Are you amazed? Are you surprised that in accordance with the Prophet, at the head of the century, a Mujaddid was sent, and sent bearing the colors of whichever Prophet Allah wanted? So you can see that Hazrat Sahib has clearly said here that he is from among Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat. He believes in everything that can be proven from the Holy Quran, from the Hadith, and which is a part of the Islamic belief system. All he's saying is that God sent him to reform the Muslims. Now, you see, just because Hazrat Sahib said that he bears a resemblance to Jesus doesn't make him Jesus. He clearly says, I'm not Jesus, son of Mary. I'm not a prophet. It's a bit like, Hazrat Ali is called Sher Khuda, Lion of Allah. Does that make him a real lion that we see in the jungles and in the zoos and so on? No, it doesn't. They bear a characteristic which is common to both. That is courage and bravery. There was another resemblance between Hazrat Isa alayhi salam and Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani rahmatullah. And that was at the time when Hazrat Isa alayhi salam appeared, at the time of his advent. The land, Palestine, where David and Solomon had established mighty and magnificent kingdoms, was ruled by the Romans. Whether it was militarily, financially, educationally, spiritually, in every sphere, Israelites had fallen to the lowest level. And the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said that a time will come that the same thing will happen to Muslims. And the Holy Prophet's prophecy had to come true. The Holy Prophet's policy, the Holy Prophet's prophecy had to come true. If you look at the state of the Muslim nation from, let's say, 100 years or so, 150 years ago, before Hazrat Mirza Sahib appeared in India, gradually they were ruled either directly or indirectly by Western powers. India was directly ruled by the British. Indonesia was directly ruled by the Dutch. Much of North Africa was ruled by the French. And so the list goes on. Educationally, Muslims were behind all other communities. Financially, spiritually, militarily, you name it. You take the example of India, which was inhabited by Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, Parsis, many other communities. Muslims were at the bottom of the ladder. And they were being left further and further behind. They developed an inferiority complex about their religion, thinking that it was their religion that was keeping them back. But Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad said that it is not their religion that's keeping them back. It is because they've forsaken the true teachings of their religion that they're behind other communities. He established a school in Qadian. It started with Fajr prayer. But they didn't just teach Arabic and Quran and history and so on, and Hadith and so on. You were also taught English and mathematics and physics and chemistry and everything else. Remember, it's in those days when ulama said that if you study English or if you study any Western science or subject, you become a kafir. You become a heretic. They forgot the fact that Muslims had studied Greek and other philosophies and sciences and so on, and translated those books into Arabic, and therefore preserved the knowledge that had gone before Muslims arrived on the scene. Even today, if we look across the world, is there any Muslim country that can make a decision which is in their interest, but against the interests of Western governments? No, they can't. Nominally, they may be independent. Nominally, they may be independent, but in practice, they're not. We have examples. Colonel Nasser wanted more money to spend on his country. So he asked the Suez Canal company that he's going to charge them more. And what happened? What happened? Israel attacked Egypt, and you know the rest of the history. Mossadegh in Iran, he said the same thing. He said to oil companies, you take oil, you take all the oil out of my country, and you don't give us anything. My country is poor. I want to give everyone free education and free health care and the sort of things that you provide to your own people. So I need more money. And what happened? Riots were instigated against Mossadegh by Western powers, and he was overthrown and killed. You might say this goes back to 1950s and so on, but has anything really changed since then? Has anything changed? No. We might be independent on paper, but in fact, we are not. And that was the point that Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad made. That if you keep fighting each other, and over again, he invites Muslims to peace and harmony and so on. Over and over again, he says, I'm not asking you to accept my claims, but let's work together. Let's not fight each other. Let's fight those who are trying to destroy us. But unfortunately, those pleas fell on deaf ears. By sharing this poster, this advertisement with you, I just wanted to make the point that Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad did not claim prophethood. He was the reformer of the 14th century, for whom the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used the titles Messiah and Mahdi. With that, I take my leave of you. Ramadan is coming in a few days. Some people are starting it on Tuesday, others on Wednesday. Whatever day you start it on, I pray that Allah Allah accepts your sacrifices and devotions in this month. Please remember that zakat and so on should be given before Ramadan, or at least at the beginning of Ramadan. People say zakat is about so poor people can and fitrana and so on, so that poor people can join in. If you give your fitrana and zakat just before you say Allahu Akbar for Eid al-Fitr namaz, how are the poor going to join in the happiness and so on? They can only do that if you pay your zakat and pay your fitrana at least at the beginning of Ramadan, if not before Ramadan. And there is no Islamic injunction to say that zakat has to be paid only during Ramadan. You can pay it throughout the year. But because of this misconception that things you do in Ramadan, the good you do in Ramadan, you get so many times the reward for that compared to normal times, people leave it to Ramadan. But remember, the person who was hungry 6 months ago, he can't wait for Ramadan before he eats. With the prayer that Allah accepts all your devotions and so on, I take my leave of you. Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz, and goodbye.